Hey, welcome to Light V with me, Wanda Toby. This is basically an extension of my blog, Light V, LITEVI.com, lightv.com. You can find me on TikTok, Light V with Wanda RN. That's RN for registered nurse. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Uh, what's that? What's that? Twitter. I'm not on there that much. Um, yeah, I'm on Snapchat, but not really. So anyway, but my blog, we focus on carefree, stress well, light and lively living while loving and reviewing entertainment tidbits. So, um, what I wanted to touch base, I just wrote out my review on Bridgerton, but I have a lot more to say. Got a lot more of the characters to go over and things like that. So I wanted to take the time out and do that. But before I do that, just a reminder, we are reading Lovecraft Country. I haven't, yeah, Lovecraft Country. I actually haven't started it yet. Uh, so, but I do plan to, whatever I get to kind of do a little summary. So on the works, on the horizon. Um, I started, so the Duke and I, this was what I started, my little love fest. So I used to read a lot, and I used to read all this. Actually, this is a very old copy because I had already purchased it like years ago. But this is the series or book one of the series that Bridgerton is based off of. Julia Quinn is the author, and I am done reading it, and I've already summarized some. So thank you for you folks that actually watched. But I will plan to summarize the rest of the chapters, or at least the rest of the book. Okay, fun book. And then I don't know when I'm going to read this. This is the second one. This is the Vis the Viscount. I keep saying Viscount, and that's not right, y'all. Don't say that. It's the Viscount. The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is about Anthony Bridgerton. Uh, and I imagine season two of the Bridgertons will be about Anthony. They already did a little trailer, like a teaser trailer type thing, I believe. I actually haven't seen it yet. I just read that they did it. So I'm gonna go search that out and see, see how I like it. Regardless, I'm gonna be watching it. So um but I am going to try to read Lovecraft Country first. So please get it, join me. I know there was a show. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm thinking after I read the book I'll see it, but I'm getting mixed I'm getting mixed information, like it doesn't follow the book or it picks up after the book or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna read the book. I'll hop in and give my little commentary and things like that. Um, and then go from there. So why entertainment and arts for stress relief? It's a little bit of escapism and that's okay. You know, I used to love like drama. I still love drama, but I don't do books or movies with like sad endings. I really want to be either escape from the real world problems or um, be uplifted and be inspired and be happy. Don't get me wrong. I know those that heavy drama, like tragedy. Uh, I know the acting is spectacular. The writing is great, and you can probably get inspired from them. But it, I find that I get a little anxious. My anxiety is higher. So, like, I used to love horror, and I can't do horror anymore. So, it's kind of the same thing, the same vein. Okay. But anyway, let me pull up. I did want to talk about Bridgerton. So, let me start by saying, hold on. Let me because I like to go over the characters. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. So let me start by saying I enjoyed Bridgerton, right? Did I enjoy it more than the book. Um, I didn't enjoy it more. I didn't enjoy it less. How about that? Because as we're going to go through, and there's spoilers, so if you haven't seen Bridgerton or you want to read the book, this, you can just probably stop because I will be getting into some spoilers. So spoiler, that's going to happen. But I'm not going to say that I enjoyed the book more or the series more. They were different. And I I love historical romance. My two favorite authors, just so you know, Jenkins, because when I was reading historical romance, um, I didn't know that Black people wrote historical romance, and she was one of the first authors, and I fell in love. And then Joanna Lindsay, who was like Queen. There's a whole bunch of others, but especially the Regency period, I know all about that. I could probably write one just from reading all of theirs. And I've read them so much. So the one aspect, because I like those already, I'm gonna have an affinity for the book, right? They're very formulaic too. You get a little bit of surprises, but I don't mind because I love the romance aspect of it and forbidden situations and all that. And all the rules make it that much more exciting, if that makes sense. And then what I loved about the series, so there was a lot of things to love about the series. Okay, I loved the costumes, like seeing them come to life. That was a treat. I also enjoyed um, just the set and the design and the colors and all that. It was just so vibrant. Uh, and I loved modernizing that era, right? And the diversity. Like there was Asian people, black people, white people. It was just, and I appreciate that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So just bringing that to life and modernizing it um, had me. Like I said, the scenery, the set design, all that, just seeing all that I've imagined in my head come to life, but like now, also the music. I loved the classical take on modern music as well. So it was just a really good blend of all that. And it definitely kept me interested, right? The storyline, of course, helped. So basically, is Bridgerton, the Bridgerton family of eight siblings, eight or nine, eight. And it's basically each book. So there are books to match, right? Each book just tells the story of um, them finding love and the drama and all that stuff. So let me tell you, there was a lot of things in the series that were not in the book. Okay. Um, like, okay, like the Featheringtons. The Featheringtons, they were in the book, but they were in the book in passing. Like, I haven't read the book two. I don't know if they've kind of, put some like took some from there and put it in the first series or the first season. But there was they were not in it as much as they were in the book. But I enjoyed them. I enjoyed Mrs. Featherington. Let me tell you who played her. Uh, Polly Walker. She was so good. She brought uh, a little bit of everything to the character. I mean, the character went through a little bit of everything. She had her daughters that, she had three of them to marry off, three daughters, all out in season at the same time, which is challenging to say the least. Um, and she had that to deal with. She had her husband not knowing what was going on with him to deal with. So she had a lot to deal with. At the same time, she was kind of annoying. I did not care for her, but I loved her character. Does that make sense? Um, But let's start with Simon, the Duke of Hastings. Um, besides the fact that he was foreign, he's so foreign. What can I say about him? I enjoyed him more in the book. Um, but I think there was some aspects that the actor, I'm a Rigid Jean Page. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. Um, there were some aspects of about him that he really gave across on the screen, like that arrogance, but a little subtle vulnerability. Now, in the book, because of course there's a lot more exposition and a lot more explaining and things like that, you can really, really see when he was vulnerable, and you can really, really see how much he struggled with the stuttering and things like that. So, but there was some aspects that um, he did play off well, which I really enjoyed. Besides just looking at him. um, and the whole thing with his dad, like, I think they did a good job of splicing in the historical aspects from his dad and how basically of a jerk his dad was. Like the start of The Duke and I lets you know right off the bat that his dad was just not the nicest person. And I think they did a good job of conveying that in in the series. I do. You get hit with it a lot harder in the book because they give you a lot more background and it's appreciative. But I definitely think that they did a good job of conveying that, and then you know why Simon hated him so much, and seeing like when he went to confront his dad, seeing that play out. Um, I think it could have been a little bit more hard hitting, but it did justice. Um, so Phoebe Daphne, that's Phoebe. I'm not gonna say her last name, Phoebe D. um, she played Daphne Bridgerton, and she was good. She was good. I think they were good together. I think she was. I think her acting, like she did that. Okay, her acting was on point. All of the actors and actresses, I'm just going to call them all actors, all of them did a wonderful job in the series. I don't think anybody will be disappointed on that score because they all did really, really, really well. There they did have some chemistry, like those longing looks and all that stuff. That was, that was good. I enjoyed seeing I always like seeing the brotherly and sisterly affection and stuff play on screen. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed her overprotective brothers trying to protect her. Um, there was some parts in the book that, like, there was one part at the end that I wish was in the in the series. It was really cute and funny, like in the book towards the end. um it played differently in the book. Okay, that whole part when Daphne came back to town, that played differently. There was no scandal with her brother for her to come back to town with, so that was definitely different because, oh, there was no, let me tell you. So as I was saying before, I digress. As I was saying before, the Featheringtons didn't really have that big of a play in the book. So what's her name? Hold on. Oh, Marina. There was no there was no Marina. So Colin did not fall in love with Marina in the book. That whole scandal piece, that was not in the book. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was not in the book. Um, Colin, that whole thing wasn't in the book. So when Daphne came back. She didn't come back because of that scandal. She came back because they got into a big argument. She did come back after she found out that after she like got on top of Simon and got his seed inside of her, and they had that big blow up. That's when she came back. And so towards the end, all three of the brothers went to the house and was just like, what's going on here? And that was cute. That was kind of missed. I kind of wish that part was a little bit more like the book, but the ending for Bridgerton was good too. Let me see what else was in the series that wasn't in the book. Oh, let me see. What is their name? That guy. Oh, Will Mondrick. So the boxer and his wife, they were not in the book. Um, you know how he kept on, how Simon kept on going back to them for, you know, like um not for information, but to just talk it out, and they were friends and stuff like that. That was in the book. Funny enough, him and Anthony kind of talked a little bit more than they did in the series. Um, but I'm guessing the way that they wrote it, they needed somebody else. But I appreciated that. I appreciated, you know, um, just a nice, strong black family man taking care of his family and all that, and the relationship that he had with his wife, and that he was there for Simon. That was nice because really Simon didn't really have any family. The other thing that was different from the book was Miss Danbury. Again, she was like, Simon did respect her in the book, and she did. They said in the book how she was always kind to him. But here, like they kind of merged, so they kind of merged Miss Danbury with Simon's nurse. So in the book, Simon's nurse or housekeeper, I think it was a housekeeper or a nurse, took over really caring for him because his dad literally just left him to the care of the servants. So they're the ones that really, really cared for him. So they kind of merged those characters with Miss Danbury. So you think, oh, Miss Danbury was the one that took him in and cared for him and all that and became his family. But in the book, it's not really like that. Although she is, a well respected lady that kind of gets what she wants. Other thing that wasn't in the book, big, huge thing that wasn't in the book, there was no queen and there was no nephew that was trying to get married. Like that part, not in there. Although, again, I loved her addition. I loved her style. I loved her hair. I loved how they kind of tied into King George's, boop, boop, um, and how difficult that was for her, and how she was so eccentric because of that, or that was a contributing factor. I think she was just eccentric anyway. But that was a nice, I like that. I liked having her in there. So that's why I say, like, do I like the book more? No, I don't like the book more. I don't like the book less. I don't like the series more, the season more. I don't like the season less because they are really different. There's some aspects that are really different. Like Featherington's husband that basically gambled everything away. That wasn't in there. Let me think. What else? Let's see. What else wasn't, or who else wasn't in there? Oh, and that whole thing with was it was it Colin? No, Colin was the one that married. Oh, Benedict. That whole thing with Benedict and um like living on the fringe of society, going to the one guy, the artist house, and basically um, you know, the free living and all that stuff, and with the seamstress, and now let me just say they did convey that they were all hoes. They did convey that the rakes were rakes, the dudes were out there slinging it left and right. They did convey that in the book as well, as much as they said it. not as much as they showed it, like they showed it in the series. And so they just said that Anthony was uh out there sowing his oats and stuff. There was no the opera singer and all that, and I know they're just building for the next season. Um, yeah, there wasn't that in the book either. So what was in the book, might you ask? What was in the book? If all that extra stuff wasn't in the book, listen, there was enough. It was really focused on the relationship with Daphne and Simon, and also Simon's past and why is he like that. And I know that kind of sounds boring, but it's not. And Whistledown did was she was in there and she was giving her gossip before every chapter. Uh, there are just some. Yeah, I know I'm making it sound dull, but it's not. It's not. The book is really, really good. I actually enjoyed the book. Like I said, I enjoyed them differently. So, let's see, who else did I enjoyed Penelope, and I think picking Julie Andrews to do the voice, I think that's perfect. The Whistledown voice. Um, and Anthony was kind of an ass. Um, but not as much. Like in the book, like, okay, so Nigel, the one that tried to marry her, the one that tried to like manhandle her, he that one scene where she punched him in the whatever, the garden or outside, that scene did happen in the book. It was a little more drawn out, and that's when that is actually when her and Simon first meet. And it's a little bit more, they have a lot more banter and going back and forth, and things like that. And Simon ends up punching him as well. So there was a little bit more to that aspect. Um, does he? No, he doesn't try to, Nigel, whatever his name is, I forget. He doesn't try to like that little stunt he pulled where he tried to marry Daphne. No, that didn't happen. Um, but Anthony did in the beginning was like, no. Anthony was okay. She had three marriage proposals. They were all whack, and Anthony was like, no. Um, we not we not you don't have to marry those. So he didn't force her to marry anybody, but he was blocking. And that's why, when Simon came in, he definitely was blocking. And that whole scene in the garden, yeah, that happened. And that whole scene where she went to, like, they were going to have the duel and she went to break up the duel, that did happen. So it's pretty similar. There's just like some character placement, some additions that wasn't there. So is it worth it if you have not seen it? If you've stayed this long, I've practically told you about it. If not, I hope I hope you you still watch it because it's pretty enjoyable, just and pretty to look at, and just fun. There was some other scenes. Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of other scenes that was not in the book, but definitely, I think the book is definitely worth reading, um, and the show is definitely worth watching. I really really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading Anthony's story, and I'm also looking forward to seeing the season and who they cast. So I read that it could be they could be casting an Asian actress to play his love interest. So that should be interesting. I want to see who else they cast. They said they're going to have some new players and things like that. So that should be fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the book. So once I start reading that, but again, I have to read Lovecraft Country first. But after that, I'll definitely put my summary, and I will try to put the summary for. And is this upside down? Whoops. Oh shoot. I know it looks kind of funky because it's backwards, but I will. Um, try to get the rest of those summaries. I'm probably gonna have to read a little bit more of it just to jog my memory, uh, and post about those. So please, 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 if you like this, I was a little shy about starting a YouTube channel. People have been telling me to do it for years, and I have not. So please, please, please subscribe. What is it? Ring the little bell. Yeah, subscribe, ring the little bell, share. Um, I am going to try to keep all of them down to 30 minutes or less. Um, oh, you know what? I am going to review WandaVision because I did see that. So that one's probably not going to be a long review, but I'm going to do that. There's a whole bunch of things that I have seen that I'm going to hop on here and have a little discussion about. Um, I think that's it. Oh, you know what? I just did want to just touch base. There are a lot of social issues that they touched on for women, women's issues with the whole thing about being married. Um, in my blog post, I put how I was not a fan of Marina. It was just something about her that was so annoying. Her hair notwithstanding. Yeah, I think she had beautiful hair. I just think they didn't do enough with it. But it was so much about her. Like she had an arrogance about her, but at the same time, I kind of felt because of the position that she was in, like I felt her pain, but at the same time, she was it's like she adopted Mrs. Featherington's, idea of you just gotta do what you gotta do. But I understand that because what was she gonna do? What was her options? But even towards the end, um, she tried to be right and just, but it's still, she still just came off as a little obnoxious and a little arrogant. And I was like, I wasn't too crazy about her, but at the same time, it's weird. That's when you know the actress is like bomb, because again, makes you dislike her, but like root for her and empathize with her at the same time. Um, hopefully, I mean, I think it seems like she ended up in a better situation that she was. Um, but there's that whole aspect of during that time how much women relied on the protection of these men, where they put up with abuse, they put up with really bad situations, and at the same time, there were trailblazers and women that said, just bump it, I'm gonna make a living and I'm gonna do what I have to do. But society expectations and being shunned and all that, as you can see with the Featheringtons, that was that was huge. um so that of course was problematic. So um I think the lesson from that is, you do have to be in society and to some extent um care, but at the same time, you have to put that behind you, care more about yourself, and follow your heart and do what's right for you. The challenge is, how do you do that in a society that basically oppresses you? Uh, more to come on that. As women, more to come on that. I think we've come a long way and we shall continue to. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to my chit chat about Bridgerton, lightevi.com, Litevi.com. And probably if you Google Wanda Toby, you'll find me on a whole bunch of different platforms. So, like, share, subscribe, come back, and watch my other videos.